Okay, so we are here at the Interactive Roundtable with Adam Reiser, the CEO and founder of Verity One, and we are talking about the Made in USA Reshoring Initiative and the enforcement of the presidential executive order from President Trump. So we're talking about reshoring jobs because this is a matter of national security. We make nothing here, we import everything from our adversaries. And if anything were to happen, we wouldn't be able to import that stuff. Our supply chains are fragile and anything could happen. I mean, we just seen with the Strait of Hormuz, this little strait gets cut and now the energy prices are up, everything is up, and we can't make anything here. So this is a matter of national security, in addition to jobs, in addition to domestic GDP. But what is it that you're working on, Adam? Because this is so important, and I think a lot of people don't realize how reliant we are and how fragile our economy is.
Well, I learned about U.S. jobs and U.S. manufacturing when in the 70s when Honda and everything started coming in, and I bought a little Honda, and my best friend's mother told me, do not park that piece of crap Japanese box on the property. And I said, why? She says, because it takes away American jobs. I'm like, tell me about it. So since 1970s, she says, because the Ford plants were all closed in New Jersey, everything was closed, Detroit was going through problems. So then when the Navy kind of did all this stuff, and then had an amazing .com exit, and then I had a 15-year non-compete, and I'm like trying to figure out what to do. So I started a magazine called Made USA Magazine. I wrote about Made USA Magazine, and then I found out people were just relabeling and slapping a sticker on and says, hey, Made in America or Made in USA.
Well, it could be finished in America, like they tagged
No, they took the sticker off. And
they take the sticker off.
So they came in one side of the facility, they had a door between the two bays, and they could products from China, it came out Made in the United States. I'm like, so now my vendor said, hey, so I was, look, I'm not going to write about this crap. I'm like, I want to tell the truth. So I'm sitting, how I found out about it was, some of the vendors that were certifying goes, I said, do you have other people or competition? What's the price difference? He goes, those are just repackaged. So I sat on the dock of where the stuff came in with binoculars and sat there and watched it come in and out. No manufacturing, nothing. I'm like, huh. So then I says, well, let me go through your supply chain. Let's go so I can be true about this. And then I went over and says, yep, well, we wrote about it. And he says, well, why don't you certify me? That's got the certification business. So I applied for the Made in USA certification process, got the registered trademark, and then kept going. And then I said, hey, that's when NAFTA and CAFTA came in, and Clinton went over and signed all those laws, and 300,000 manufacturing facilities, not jobs, average between 100 and 1,000 people per facility got outsourced within 3 years. Gone. Towns were
thousands of jobs.
Millions.
Millions.
Towns devastating everything. And whatever GE did, and I think the progenitor is GE, because whenever they outsourced, everybody else had to follow them because they had government contracts. Jack Welch is the progenitor of the decline of U.S. manufacturing. That's my theory.
But how do we bring it back?
So now that's the story.
This is the core, because the next generation, they don't have jobs. Even if they've got education, if they get skill building, where can we certify that things are made? And my core is about food and food security.
Yeah.
So,
but that's a product. That's
and
product of USA.
Exactly.
Which is still important. Why are we shipping all the food in? Local production is important for job security and national security.
So let's go back now and how Made in USA.
Yeah.
So now everything's gone. We don't make anything here. I mean, we have a percentage. Very, very few things are made here in the United States. Now, what I'm doing now, we have a company called Made in USA Inc. We're publicly traded, OTC QB, and what I'm doing is I'm acquiring companies outside the United States, rolling them in. I'm buying like from Taiwan and in China. We're unbolting. We're literally going into the factory floors, going with wrenches, grabbing them, put them in boxcar containers, shipping them back just like they did. Okay, so now we're going to have the Chinese or Taiwan train our guys, and then we're going to say bye-bye. Okay, then we're going to start duplicating the process. So we need to start. We do not manufacture LEDs, low-end chips, diodes, resistors. Nothing is made here. You can't get a wiring harness. There's no wire made here. Nothing. Zero. So guess what? If there's a problem, like an event that, you know, to say China decides to go over and circle Taiwan, we're dead. We're dead. There's nothing we can do.
So what's the solution?
The
And how do we drive those products and get investors to participate, collaborate, and understand the value add that we can have as individuals? You don't have to invest a lot of money. You have to invest your time. You can buy into the new stocks that are coming through,
Yeah.
but also you can build it in your community and bring forth that empowerment.
Well, the big problem is Americans say they want to buy made USA products, and even if it's a little bit more, they buy the cheapest thing. So go to Walmart.
Right.
That's the reason why. So they're full of donkey dust, okay? And that's being nice. So they'll do food, baby formula, really stuff that like they understand. And by the way, 300,000 babies were murdered because of fake Chinese baby formula 5 years ago. What they did is they figured out that there's a minimum protein content that the scanner has to go by, and if somebody says, you know, what if we? They kept trying to figure out protein's expensive, so they put in melamine and melamine. So after a while, it was all melamine, no protein, so it was blowing out the kidneys and murdered babies around the world.
my goodness.
Yeah, and pet food and cat food and you name it, unbelievable. So I mean, that's one of my things is I cannot take that. So now, how, you know, but talk about the products. We have to get manufacturers here. How do we bring back the manufacturers? We're not going to build them here. We don't have the factories. We have nothing to build. There's zero here. So we have to actually go. Europe has some pretty good manufacturers like Siemens for LED manufacturers and stuff. We have to, now there's $500 billion, $500 billion, $500 billion to reshore stuff. The problem is all the big guys, the Intel's got 250 million, billion, that's crazy numbers. They don't need the money. The little guys need the money. It's like
Small
it's
business.
like the little guy, you know, the little guys are the innovators and the big guys are just paying. It depends on like the politicians. You know, it should be like NASCAR, Intel, you know, this, you know, everybody buys everybody. There's nothing manufactured. So we have to go over strategically, get, you know, what's it called, an extinct, you know, manufacturing here. Find out, strategically buy it, because Taiwan guys, they don't want the low-end chips. They don't want diodes. There's no money in it. They want high value, high margin. I don't care about that. I just need manufacturing. So I want to grab them, bring them here. We don't even make umbrellas here. Come on. I mean, umbrellas? I mean, it's not even,
We don't make anything.
we don't make nothing.
You want to know
Zero.
something really interesting? So my cousin is actually bringing one of the first manufacturing facilities for mugs, you know, like the vacuum wall
Yeah.
mugs. He's bringing it from China. He's getting the factory, like you said, unbolting it and bringing it to manufacture it in Pittsburgh, former steel town.
Yep.
So he's doing that, and he's had so many challenges with that. But he wants to do it because there's a story. Because it's, you know, former manufacturing town, which got gutted since the 70s. You know, and so this is, people will pay more for something that says Made in USA if it's certified, because they want to support that for some of these products.
I agree. So now, how do we go over and get that gone? You know, it's we have to go. It's hand-to-hand combat. That's what it comes down to. That's, you know, what I call it. It's hand-to-hand combat. We have to go over and get a small group of people. We have a small group of people here. We can start right now. Say, look, this will come
Why
down
is it
to.
combat?
Because everybody's gonna get fucked every single step of the way. Environmental rules, oh, we don't want this in our neighborhood. All you couldn't even imagine.
Yes,
Look what
but they
they're.
want to bring in plastic and items, and when we were, even in COVID, where the shipments couldn't come,
Right.
and when we're in a predicament of war, we know that we were lacking resources.
Right.
Mind you, there was 30 to 38% increase of people purchasing items on Amazon, so there is, and going into debt. So there's a mental shift that America has to have about taking care of ourselves, not importing through
Right.
external,
No.
but building it on our future, for our skills, for the youth. They need a job. They need to.
These are gonna be lights out though. Let me tell you, the factories are not gonna be manned. We're gonna
be
need,
autonomous.
it's gonna be lights out. But guess what? We're gonna need guys to maintain this stuff.
Right,
And
a few
girls.
people,
You know,
a few people that make sure
Okay,
it's right.
so now the real trick is
Anthony,
Hey.
join us. We're talking
Yeah.
a little bit about bringing manufacturing back to the
We're doing
USA.
the round table. We're
And
doing the
we're
actual
working-
round table here.
We're attempting this to support the actions that you all see.